Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm starting this at the end of the week. I've had this week off from work and it's been so nice. I feel like it's been a real reset. I've also come to the conclusion that distractions are needed, otherwise I'm just sitting around bored. There is probably something in it, but I'd rather focus on something. I am trying to meditate after I do my stretches in the morning for 5 minutes. But at the moment, my mind is busy and I'm trying to silence it and focus on nothing. But it's really difficult. I will be persevering though. So that brings me to the book I've been reading, which is Meditations for Mortals. It was not about meditation, which I've done a lot lately. I've been picking up books thinking it's about one subject, and it turns out to be not as I had anticipated. This book in particular is about abandoning your wish for 100% consistency and about accepting your limitations and your imperfections, and that you're never going to hit that target of absolute perfectionism. I would definitely recommend this book. I found it really liberating in truth, and it did give me some ideas about how I wish to move forward with developing my lifestyle, where I am now and where I wish for it to be in the future. And one example is that it suggested that you shouldn't have a to-do list. I've always had a to-do list, and most of the time I'm feeling completely overwhelmed by it. But I also put stuff on there that I want to do rather than the things that I have to do. I'm putting myself under that pressure that I must stretch, I must exercise, I must write, etc. So I've abandoned that and I've just put down the absolute essential things that I need to get done day to day. And that's gone down to about 2 or 3 things per day. And the reason for it is that if you have a day of absolutely nothing to do, which I have experienced these past few days being off from work, you will choose to do something with your time. And I did choose to do my stretches. I did choose to go and exercise, and I did some writing and some reading. So I did work on the things I wanted to do, and you will naturally want to fill that void. And if you haven't got that void, it's because you're already overstretched and overrun. So don't beat yourself up about it. If you're not doing what you want to do, which I often find when I am working, that I'm trying to cram things in to get it done. And the book does go on to explain that you will try and reach that perfectionism again, but then you have to remind yourself all over again about your limitations and accepting it. So I think it's one of those books where you're probably reading at least once a year to reset your mindset towards achieving things and that you're desperate to achieve for yourself. And any day that you can actively contribute to it, even if it's just for a few minutes or an hour, it's something towards something that you want to do. So that's how I'm going to try and keep my mindset from now on. Whether I'll achieve it or not, I won't pressurize myself into it. So although I've had a lovely relaxing reset week, I do feel that I've also been productive, and I am ready to restart my week again, my working week again. So on that note, I thought I would pick out some outfits to be organised for next week. So let's do that now. This is outfit number 1. Whether I will wear this jumper over the top or underneath, I'm debating. I suppose, yeah, I'm debating. But this is actually a new dress that I picked up at the start of the year in the sales. I think it's from Mango. So I've yet to wear it. Hopefully that will fit and look good on me. As it is getting more spring-like, I think I might crack out the white trousers, well, the white jeans. I've got a sleeveless navy blue top and a blazer to keep me warm, and then I'll wear my coat on top of that as well. And finally, outfit number 3, I'm going to wear black jeans with a light cream jumper and again a camel blazer over the top for a little bit of extra warmth. I know it's not spring yet, but you can see where my mind is heading towards. I love a spring wardrobe. This weekend it is Valentine's Day, and I thought I'd make some chocolate cupcakes for myself, in all honesty, because I love cake, and yeah, it's just nice to have a few treats in the house. And again, trying to do everything homemade. So I'm going to make chocolate cupcakes. I always use the same recipe, which is Delia Smith's all-in-one cake mixture. It never goes wrong for me. It doesn't matter what I add into it as flavouring, it always remains the same, which is 110 grams of flour to 2 eggs, 110 grams of sugar, and 110 grams of butter. So that is the basis for it, and then anything else that you add on top is up to you, but you can't go wrong with it. So I'm going to start with the butter. I've got my electric whisk all set up behind me, so I'm going to use that to beat the butter because I am feeling very lazy today. Now that has had a light whisk, I'm going to add 2 eggs. And if you just wanted to double up on this mixture, you would just add another 110 grams of everything and then 2 extra eggs to that. So it's such an easy recipe. I've grown up with it, and it makes cake baking so easy, especially for someone who loves cakes. Normally you would add the sugar in first and with the eggs and then whisk it all together so it creates all that air. But because I find butter is so heavy, I just prefer to do it butter first just to get it moving. But I've never noticed a difference, in all honesty, in the texture. So whatever works for you. 110 grams of golden caster sugar, and that is looking so lovely and airy. So the final thing is just to add in your dry mixture. So I've got my flour, my baking powder, and cocoa powder. I'm wondering whether to add in some ground almonds. I think I will. I just find that it makes the sponge nice and moist, so I'll add those in. Give that a whisk just to take out any lumps. Now, if I wasn't adding the cocoa powder, I would just add that straight in, but because I am, I will sift it. And probably about a tablespoon, maybe 2 of the ground almonds. Let's just sift that into the bowl. Going to gently stir that all in, and then I've got my cake batter ready to go. Just a tablespoon of mixture. I think Valentine's Day can cause such mixed emotions for so many people. It's like any big milestone. Holidays, Christmas, New Year's, it can ignite all sorts of peculiar feelings in people. I know when I was single, I used to watch people buy roses for their loved ones, and I used to think, no, no one's buying me any roses. But I think as you get older, you care less. You learn to care about yourself more, and you become more protective of yourself. So you'd rather be happy in yourself than unhappy with someone else. And I always like to make the day to do something nice for myself, even though I'm very lucky. I've got a lovely partner and I'm, touch wood, so happy in the relationship. With that, I have managed to do 9. There are my cupcakes. I'm going to bake them for 15 to 20 minutes, just until they cook through. And that'll be a nice treat for me and my partner as well. I will share them with him. He'll get one. Well, they kind of look like love hearts, but also like a Pac-Man as well. So won't be doing that one again. But I'm pleased with how they've risen and they look really nice. So a nice little treat. And the completed cupcakes with some dried rose petals for decoration. And it does kind of look like a heart, sort of. Before I leave for work, I thought I would give an update on the books I've been reading. I loved Murder at Mount Fuji. There's a clever plot twist at the end, which you can kind of guess, but you need it confirmed. So that was really enjoyable. I've now started with The Life Impossible, and I'm already fully invested. The storytelling is particularly addictive because it's short chapters of a long email, very clever and so easy to engage with. So I'm really enjoying that one. Really good nighttime read for me because I'm so interested in it. One book I did see, it was actually an article I was reading about it. It was called In Search of Now, The Science and Mystery of the Present Moment by Jo Marchant. The write-up was referencing how we never live in the past, we never live in the future, that we are suspended in the now, and that never changes. And that really got me thinking about how temporary everything is and how changeable everything is. And then that led me to think about social media. And we all know the negative reasons for it, but a positive one occurred to me. Now, I love history, and if we could go back in time and look at someone who created a vlog style diary entry like you see today on YouTube Shorts and TikTok, etc., someone like in the 17th century who had just heard that the French were going to revolution and they were deposing their monarchy, what would their lives be like? Would it be someone in the city? Would it be someone rural? Would that change in any sort of way? Would that affect the outcome for them as to what is going on around them? What would it look like? What would their day-to-day interactions be? How would they get their news? What would be happening in their personal life, and how would those outside factors affect them? How fascinating would that be if we had that documentation to watch it? This brings me to my point. In 20 years' time, the world most likely is going to look very different from how it looks now. And in the same way, it looks different from how it looked 20 years ago. And what is so fascinating about social media is that it's now all being documented. I certainly hope in 20 years' time, life will be so much better for so many people. But I think we also look back on time, as we always do, with this nostalgia. Things that happened in 2000 will not happen today in 2020, and life is ever evolving ever temporary moment in time. And social media is now recording all of that. And I suppose it's like the everyday people now have a voice. And it's why I believe social media is something we need to work with, adapt to, and celebrate, most importantly. And that is what that book suddenly sparked in me. I was like, oh, we are ever suspended in the now, and yet that is always changing. And that's probably why I love history, because you look back on the past and you think, well, how did they adapt to this? How did they change this? What did they do right? What did they do wrong? You always want a sense of their surroundings, of what tools and equipment they had to help them through. Today, we have social media, we can reach so many different people from all over the world. We have AI now. Our tools are getting ever more technology dependent, and that is such a shift from the past where it would have been reliant on people. So it will be fascinating 20 years' time to look back on all of those updates that people do, that they think they're just chronicling their lives when actually they're chronicling a time, a suspended moment in time where we're still at the dawn of mega technical advancements. So, yeah, that's what that book inspired in my thoughts. And I certainly would like to read it at some point. Not that it's based on social media or about that type of thing. It's about time. It's about time as an illusion. But yeah, I just think that it would be a really interesting read. However, I do have one other book waiting in the wings, and that is The Cardinal by Alison Weir. This is the rise of Thomas Wolsey and obviously his fall as well. I love anything to do with Tudor history, so that'll be another really good nighttime read for me. This is a fiction book. She is probably more well known for her non-fiction, but either or, I love Alison Weir's writing. I think she swaps in and out of both perfectly, so really looking forward to that. Right, I'm going to finish my tea and then head off to work. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really lovely week ahead for yourselves, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.